Hello, I am Cryo, and welcome to part 3 of To Be a Person to Have a Name. If you have not seen the other two parts of this fic, you will not understand anything, as all of this is a single chapter. Yeah. But the fic To Be a Person to Have a Name is by Kirabasai. I would recommend go checking them out on AO3 and Tumblr. They have excellent works. My personal favorite is To Be a Person to Have a Name. And yeah. On with the story. Whoa, Yumiko breathes, looking at her hair. She can't see much of it from the front, since it's still pretty short. But looking at the image on Lilia's phone, it looks so cool! She beams at Lilia for what was originally an excuse to hang out with the older student. She's actually pretty excited. Huh. Of course it is. I am very good at what I do, you know. Lilia brags. Yumiko nods in agreement. Her hair, while black in the front where her bangs are, slowly shifts into a nice, vibrant blue to the ends at the back of her hair. Remember, wash your hair with cold water if you want it to last as long as it can. When the color starts to fade in 1 or 2 months, we can reapply or do a different color, Lilia instructs. Oh, that won't be a problem. Ramshackle doesn't have any hot water because the boiler is broken. Yumiko absent-mindedly waves off. Currently I'm planning on what sort of book she could look for in regards to hair care. Is that so? Lilia neutrally asks after a beat, voice carefully blank. It's such a stark difference from his usual tone of voice that Yumiko jolts out of her thoughts, turning to face him. Is something wrong, Lilia-senpai? She asks, blinking at him. He looks different, somehow, despite not looking different at all. Between one blink and the next, however, he turns back to normal. Ah, do not worry about it, he chuckles, patting Yumiko's head. His chuckle feels slightly off, like boulders rolling down a mountain rather than the warmth of a crackling fireplace she's used to. She should probably be concerned, but it doesn't seem to be doing any harm towards her, so she'll let it go. If you say so, Lilia-senpai, Yumiko responds, handing his phone back to him. The Fae grins. How about I show you how to tie a tie now, he says, moving on to a new topic. Yumiko doesn't mind, and in fact quite likes the idea of finally being able to do her tie correctly. Okay, Yumiko nods. No wonder Cruel Sensei is always barking at me about my tie, Yumiko says not even 20 minutes later. It was that simple. Honestly, I kind of get that. Okay. Yes, there are many tasks that look daunting at first, but turn out to be quite simple once you partake in it. Lilia wisely says with a snicker, patting her head. Seriously, what's with this guy and patting her head? The top of my head will be flat as a board by the time the semester ends if you keep that up, Yumiko tells Lilia, who laughs. Yumiko herself has a small smile on her face. You have not yet told me to stop, so as far as I'm concerned, you are okay with it, he responds. She is okay with it, actually. It feels quite nice. She doesn't quite want to admit that yet, though. With that in mind, Yumiko takes a page out of Lilia's book and changes the topics. Lilia-senpai, do you really play all those instruments? She asks. Lilia gives her a knowing look, but accepts the change in topic, walking over to the collection arranged in the corner of his room. Of course I do, Lilia says, picking up a bass. This is the one I play the most currently, in the light music club, but I know how to play all of them. Whoa, Yumiko blinks, eyeing the ensemble. She recognizes only a handful of the instruments. Is it because he's well-traveled, or because of the instruments have fallen out of fashion during his non-human lifespan? You know a lot, Lilia-senpai. Yumiko is not only referring to the instruments. Would you like to hear a song? He asks, eyes glinting. Yumiko perks up. Can you do the one you were humming yesterday? The one you said from Bar Valley? She requests, almost immediately, brimming with excitement. She liked that song. A lot, actually. Oh? Lilia blinks. Not one of the rock songs I showed you yesterday. I liked those too, Yumiko admits, but that one you were humming is my favorite. Not that she knows why it's her favorite. It just is. Lilia hums in consideration. In that case, there it is, he muses aloud, setting aside the base for a long black rectangle. He quickly unfolds and assembles it into its true shape, though. A keyboard. The base is not suited for that song. Let's see. Yumiko watches in fascination as Lilia sets up the keyboard, tweaking the audio and sound until it's something he's satisfied with. Yumiko isn't really sure what the point is, but she won't question the experience than somebody more knowledgeable than her. That doesn't make quite a lot of sense, but it will. Yumiko sits down on the carpet in anticipation, an eager audience. Let's see. Of course, Lilia mutters. A soft melody rises from the keyboard, a far cry from the intense rock music she has listened to with Lilia before. And then he begins to sing. I don't know whether or not I should sing this. I don't really sing a lot, so I'll just say the lyrics. Sorry if that's not quite what people want, but eventually I'm probably going to be redoing this when I get better equipment instead of the microphone that's in the device I'm recording this on, aka a computer. But I know you. I walked with you once upon a dream. Literally it. But most of Yumiko's dreams, ever since she lost her memories and came to Night Raven College, have been an empty void. She walks along a non-existent floor, completely aware of her actions. The space remains dark and empty, as though waiting for her to do something. Or rather, say something. Occasionally, she can feel ambient magical energy slither its way inside, painting the void into moments of past, present, future. The Queen of Hearts, Riddle Rose Hearts, the King of Beasts, Leona King Scholar. It's familiar, the dreams, but the form of them feels wrong, off, as though something is missing or done wrong, almost as if it's a cheap imitation of something greater. Ambient magic swirls around her, but fails to take shape. Yumiko sits on unfeeling, non-existent ground. Yumiko stirs awake just as quickly as she fell asleep. To her puzzlement, a soft blanket is draped over her body, and she can feel a pillow beneath her head. Sitting upright reveals she is sitting on the carpet in Lilia's room, though she cannot see him. You're awake, a voice says from above her. Blinking in befuddlement, she looks up and sees Lilia hanging upside down off the ceiling, a book in hand, the one she brought with her. I think it was pronounced oneiromancy, something along that line. If anyone knows, please tell me. The significance of dreams. My apologies for dozing off on you again, Lilia-senpai, Yumiko says sheepishly. He quickly waves it off, though. You would not be the first, he says, somewhat bemused as he closes the book. I didn't want to disturb you too much, so I settled with providing you a pillow and blanket for comfort. They are comfortable, Yumiko admits. Was I asleep long? I would say about 50 minutes at most. Merely a nap, Lilia replies, flipping back down to the carpet as she begins to fold the blanket. Do you nap often? Yumiko hums. Not exactly. It's more like... I don't know. Something related to my before, I think. Except whatever is supposed to happen can't or doesn't happen. She tries to explain. They both know my before means Yumiko's life prior to her amnesia. Part of Yumiko realizes Lilia is quite curious about and interested about her long-gone memories and how they resulted in her being as she is now. Not a speck of magical energy, yet alive all the same. Every layer is shrouded in mystery and brings forth even more questions. It's naturally appealing to somebody as curious as her. Yumiko supposes her circumstances are quite rare, which naturally makes her an interesting subject to the Fae. So they're both trying to puzzle out the truth, from what they know and can glean, yet separately. Yumiko is pretty sure he means no harm by it, he's simply curious, like her. So there shouldn't be an issue asking him if he would like to compare theories. But that means admitting everything she knows, everything she suspects, and once they find the truth, what reason would the Fae have to hang out with her? None. So, she selfishly hoards her information, her clues, despite, logically, knowing collaboration with the Fae would be to both their benefit. It baffles her. Lilia probably realizes this as well, yet does not push. How strange. If it is dream-related, Lilia says after a beat, exchanging the book on oneiromancy for his blanket, I would recommend speaking with Silver. He is quite familiar with the topic. Yumiko realizes that this is the second time now he suggested she speak to Silver, and briefly wonders if he wants the two of them to get along or something. Regardless. All right, she nods. Lilia smiles softly, as if they weren't just towing the line on how much information Yumiko wants to share with him. She doesn't mind. Now then, he announces, as Yumiko stands up, grab your bag, we're heading down to the kitchens. Are we going to swindle someone for dinner? Yumiko asks, picking up her bag and making sure everything is there. They are, save for the oneiromancy book that she quickly stows away. Lilia chuckles, patting her head. Why, how could we ever do that? We're far too innocent for anything of that sort. Look at our faces. Do they seem as though they are the faces of miscreants? He conspiratorially says, widening his eyes for extra effects. Yumiko finds herself giggling. Nope, she responds, quickly stifling her giggles and schooling her expression as they exit Lilia's room. He pats her head again. Is there anything in particular you are craving? You are a guest, after all, Lilia says as they enter the Diasomnia Lounge, which is a bit more crowded than it was earlier in the day. I'm not sure. I already appreciate that you're making me dinner, Lilia-senpai. Yumiko responds as they pass a student with tanned skin. She can almost hear the way he whips around to look at them as she says those words. I'll have anything. Why, how polite, Lilia coos, taking on a thoughtful expression. Perhaps I should make enough food for the other students as well. He adds, a therianthrope across the room looks up in horror. You are so considerate, Lilia-senpai, Yumiko compliments. I can't wait to try what you make, she adds, for that extra nail in the head. Lilia-san, a student with noticeably pointed ears calls out, rushing up to them. A sizable portion of the lounge has disappeared. Some who are remained are surreptitiously taking peeks. Yumiko and Lilia stop walking in order to face the newcomer. Yumiko doesn't recognize him. He has a large build towering over them both. His light blue hair, though some parts look darker, almost turquoise, is moused, similar to downy feathers. Most notably, his eyes are a shade of yellow she has never seen, and his ears are pointed. A fae, then, like Lilia. Oh, hello, Boris, Lilia greets, a polite smile on his face. Do you need help with anything? Yumiko looks between the two. Yes, pardon the intrusion. Some of us were wondering when we can expect the perches in the lounge to be fixed. The student Lilia called Boris answers. Perches? Like for birds? Or is Lilia not the only one in the dorm with a proclivity for hanging upside down? Ah, yes. I believe the earliest they will be fixed is after Halloween, regrettably. Now, if you will excuse me, Lilia answers, already turning around. For a split second, the student's collected mask cracks, but he just as quickly recovers. Actually, Lilia-san, Boris calls again. Lilia turns back around. That wasn't all, he sheepishly admits, rubbing his nape. All right, but make it quick. I have a guest to entertain. Lilia concedes, nodding towards Yumiko. She blinks, as Boris looks at her with a look of what she suspects to be pity. Alright, it's about Halloween. Has our theme or location been decided yet? Some of us were also wondering when we'll hear back about our applications to be committee members for the event. The student asks successively. Yumiko blinks. Did he come up with a script pre-prepared, or is he coming up with these questions on the fly? And who is he stalling for? Malleus is currently deciding our theme. I'm quite sure he will have it soon. In regards to our location, Malleus was quite insistent on where he wanted us. However, it is still under review by the head mage. I was planning to pay him a visit tonight, actually, so I can check up on that. Lilia answers. Yumiko blinks. Is Lilia someone important in the dorm or something? How does he know all this? And visiting Crowley so casually? As for the committee applications, Lilia continues. From Diasomnia, only Malleus and I were selected. Perhaps your younger brother will make the committee next year. Of course. I appreciate your patience, Vice Dorm Head, Boris says, using Lilia's title in lieu of his name. Yeah. Yumiko blinks, processing the words. Vice Dorm Head? Glad I could be of help, Boris. Now, if you will excuse me, I need to entertain my guest. Come along, Yukun. Lilia responds, turning away from the other student. Yumiko follows suit, vaguely wondering if another student will try to stall them. Okay, warning in advance. Sebek. All I need to say, Sebek. If you know Twisted Wonderland, you know Sebek. He is extremely loud. He yells. So, warning for headphone users, I'm going to be trying to imitate Sebek. I am so sorry. Okay. That's my warning. Lilia-sama! A loud voice booms across the hall. Yumiko can almost swear she hears Boris behind them mutter, "Oh, thank fuck." But what catches her attention is that this is a voice she recognizes. That being, Sebek, what wonderful timing you have, Lilia cries out to Yumiko's fellow first year, who is quickly striding from the lounge entrance to where they're standing, mere inches from the kitchen entrance. Lilia-senpai, Ziegwald-san doesn't like me at all, Yumiko whispers to the third year, eyeing the approaching student. He'll be fine, he says, patting her head. Strangely, Yumiko feels a bit less on edge. Lilia-sama, Sebek greets and exclaims in lieu of a greeting. Or is that just his way of greeting people? I've come to ask if you will be supervising our evening training tonight. Again, with evening training, is it for class or something else? Why, Sebek, Lilia blinks at him. Of course I will be. Have I ever missed a session? I don't mean to presume or insult Lilia-sama, Sebek insists. I am just aware that you have other responsibilities, so it would be rude of me to presume you will always be there. Lilia chuckles in a way that has Yumiko guessing this is not the first time they've had this conversation. That being said, hello, Ziegwald-san, Yumiko greets. She suspects her yearmate has been selectively ignoring her presence. She thinks she may be right, by how he stiffly looks at her. Lilia-senpai was just about to make me dinner. Would you like to join us? The two of us are first years after all. Yumiko watches as Sebek's face goes from horror to fear, and then something indecipherable. Lilia-sama, Sebek starts. You were planning on making dinner? Yumiko gets the feeling Sebek was not given the crisis memo, and it takes all her restraint not to crack. She gets to watch in real time as Sebek deliberates between helping a human he does not like versus allowing Lilia to cook. Yes, I was. Why, I am so pleased you arrived at just the right time. Is there anything in particular you want? Yukun already told me he has no preference. What a polite boy. Lilia gushes. Yumiko rubs her nape as Sebek looks between them both. The half-fae seems to come to a conclusion. Yumiko can't decide if he looks more or less horrified, much less what his conclusion was. Please allow me to assist you in the kitchen, Lilia-sama, Sebek requests, bowing. Which, wow. Maybe Sebek figures out he can't escape from Lilia's clutches. Lilia just laughs. Oh, Sebek, I appreciate the sentiment, but it is not much more effort for me to whip up an extra serving or so, Lilia exclaims, patting the other boy's head. To Yumiko's amazement, the entire lounge has cleared out save for the three of them. They truly did abandon ship. Does this mean she truly will be able to see the monstrosity that Lilia's cooking is rumored to be? Yumiko almost shakes with excitement at the thought. She isn't too worried about her health, mainly because if she was able to survive getting 0 magical energy, she's sure she can survive a bit of bad cooking. What are you making, Lilia-senpai? Yumiko asks, tilting her head. Out of the corner of her eye, Sebek looks almost green. Wait, he says, before Lilia can respond. Aren't humans pathetically weak when it comes to food? Some of them can die from simply eating fish, he exclaims. Yumiko knows he isn't really worried about her. He's just trying to prolong the inevitable. But the wording is a bit funny. Does he mean allergies? Oh, you mean allergies. How kind of you, Sebek, to be so considerate of our guest, Lilia compliments. Yumiko thinks Sebek rather dislikes that compliment. You are correct, though. Yukun, do you have any allergies? He asks. Yumiko opens her mouth, ready to answer, when... She blinks. Does she have allergies? Lilia is looking at her expectantly, but the silence is dragging on so long. I don't know. Yumiko stiltedly responds. Lilia blinks. Sebek blinks. Sebek opens his mouth. Human, he barks. Are you truly so in... Sebek's voice is cut off by a chime from Lilia's phone. Lilia shushes the first year, taking out the device and reading the message. He grins. Oh, Silver has gotten us takeout from the Monstro Lounge. What a kind boy. I suppose I will have to cook you a meal some other time, Yukun, Lilia exclaims, giving Yumiko a knowing look. Sebek seems much less pale than he did earlier, though he does seem to want to say something. He doesn't say a word. It's okay, Lilia-senpai. I'm sure I'll get to try your cooking someday, Yumiko responds, if a bit too earnestly. Lilia seems to catch on to her tone, giving her a curious look. Would it really be such a surprise for her curiosity to extend to the more mundane? Regardless, there is one thing she kind of wants to do. She privately thinks that hanging out with Lilia might be a bad influence on her, because she typically wouldn't waste time on such things. But... By the way, Ziegfeld-san, Yumiko starts, laying a hand over her heart. I'm so touched you considered the possibility I may have an allergy and worried about me. Should I call you Sebek-san instead? Let's get along from now on, she tells him, trying to emulate Lilia's tone from earlier when he was speaking with Boris. She isn't sure if she succeeded, but Sebek's twitching eyebrow is quite amusing regardless. Oh, how nice! Lilia claps before Sebek can respond. I'm proud to see you making more friends, Sebek. Forming bonds with your peers is an integral part of youth, you know. Of course, Lilia-sama. Sebek forces out. Yumiko previously had zero intentions of befriending Sebek due to his obvious dislike of her. But now she feels the urge to strong arm the half-fae into friendship, whether he wants to or not. Maybe Lilia really is a bad influence on her. Okay, that is the end of part 3. I believe this part is. Yeah, 3. 3 sounds right. So, I hope you enjoyed. I don't know when I'm going to do the other part. Hopefully I can do it soon. I will most likely do it soon. But, life's a thing. Anyway, please comment down below letting me know what I can do to improve these, because I am well aware that I am not an expert at this, but I try, and I hope I'll get better as time goes on. So, again, this is To Be a Person to Have a Name by Kirabasai. I recommend going to AO3 and Tumblr and checking them out. Give all the kudos. I'm not sure what that means, but I've heard many other people use that, so I'll use it too. But I hope you enjoyed. I will see you on the next video. Have an excellent day.